Hi, it's Dr. Dina Churchill, innovator of women's health and wellness, here to summarize tonight episode 8 of the Truth About Cancer series. So we have done an episode every day for the last 8 days, and I'm really grateful to have been a part of promoting this series. I'd like to take a moment to thank personally Ty Bollinger for his work in making a difference in the world. He had 5 family members that had passed of cancer and was his initial inspiration, I think, for doing this. But it takes a lot of purpose and dedication and courage, to keep that momentum going, not only in this series, but the Truth About Vaccines series, and leaving his family and travel around the world to get the best information for you. So thank you, Ty. I've bought the Truth About Cancer series, the Truth About Vaccines series. I'm helping promote it here on Facebook. I'm with you. So this episode 8, was a real conglomerate of a bunch of different ideas, from cannabis to epigenetic switches to peptides, healing with micronutrients. I thought, how am I going to put this together in a video? So I thought what I'd do is just give you some ideas that have kept coming up in the series, repetitive ideas that give us an overview, of cancer and the problem and potential solutions. So the first idea is that there's a nutrient and micronutrient synergy, that all the nutrients and micronutrients have to work together like an orchestra, that there's not really one particular one that's more important than the other, but they all work together. And in working together, you're supporting your immune system, which really then gives cancer cells 2 options: get healthy and live, or die through a process called apoptosis, or natural cell death. So again, that synergy is important. The second idea is that there's not one cure for cancer because there's not one cause. We've looked at nutrition being important, supporting the immune system, the importance of emotions in cancer and how certain emotions can get trapped in certain body parts. We've looked at radiation, cell phone radiation in particular, how it's harmful and causing brain cancers. So we have to look at each situation individually. So if you have cancer or have a family member have cancer, it's a great idea to be followed by a holistic health care practitioner that can put together a specific plan for you. Dr. Bradinsky in Texas, at the time this was being filmed, had talked about a story where a patient under his care was healed of a 4th stage pancreatic cancer that had metastasized to the liver. Now, this man, at the time the interview was being done, was taken to court by the Texas Medical Board. So instead of celebrating and nominating for a Nobel Prize, this amazing man who had a healing, with a person that no one else could heal, was being ostracized and being punished for his brilliance. There's something wrong with that picture. So the Texas Medical Board maybe doesn't want to celebrate Dr. Bradinsky, but I will, and I'd invite you to do the same. This is the way we make a change, is by talking about it and sharing it with other people. The third idea is that you're not sick because you're pharmaceutically disadvantaged in some way, or that you're lacking pharmaceuticals in your system. You don't have breast cancer because of lack of tamoxifen in your system. Tamoxifen, the most common drug used to treat breast cancer, is actually a carcinogen. It's carcinogenic. So they're treating breast cancer with a carcinogen. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Fourth point is that chemicals from our earth, essential oils, plants, fruits, herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, they have an innate wisdom, like the innate wisdom in our body. Now, what do I mean by innate wisdom? Well, if you cut yourself, your body knows how to heal. Just like if that plant gets injured in some way, it has its system, its hormones, its enzymes. It has an innate wisdom, a knowing of how to heal itself. So in a previous episode, I talked about the healing power of essential oils, being in the same way. That it has a homeostatic intelligence, meaning, and I gave this example, if you're having cinnamon and your blood pressure is low, and your blood sugar is low, it can bring your blood sugar up. But if your blood sugar is too high, the cinnamon can bring it down. So it can work both directions. You know, it has an intelligence. It can move both directions depending on what your body needs. So we need to, again, celebrate that natural wisdom, you know, in our bodies and in the earth, and stop giving up our power to this artificial, you know, pharmaceutical intelligence that is, you know, nature twisted. Fourth point, Gerson therapy, Gerson. That's came up almost in every episode. You know, it's an amazing system, Max Gerson, and dealing with organic eating. It has a certain pattern of juicing that, you know, makes your body more alkaline, a way of bringing oxygen into your cells, and detoxifying through coffee enemas. So the juicing of organic foods and in different combinations, it's amazing. You have to look up that therapy. Even if you don't have cancer, this is just a great way to eat, to reduce chronic diseases, and to keep you and your family healthy. And finally, cannabis. Now, I have to find that quote by Dr. Patrick Quillen, who is a former VP of Nutrition for Cancer Treatment Centers of America. He calls cannabis the most useful plant on earth. You can eat the seeds, hemp seeds have essential fatty acids. You can eat the plant. He says years ago, the cannabis plant was used for making canvases and clothing. But, in fact, it lasts longer and is more kind of environmentally friendly than cotton, or definitely polyester. You know, polyester has these little plastics now that are in our oceans and causing tremendous problems. So there's a lot of research out there now on the dangers of polyester. But DuPont family, apparently, in 1937, patented polyester, and then they had to sort of get rid of the cannabis plant because it was competing for business, or, you know, get rid of the idea of cannabis clothing because it was competing for their polyester business. So I thought that was an interesting quote. But so they've researched cannabis and different cancers, and these are all the cancers that have research showing that cannabis is effective in reducing tumor size and reducing cancers, even curing cancers in some cases. So the research showed for breast cancer, for colorectal cancer, cannabis is helpful in prostate cancer, stomach cancer, skin cancer, leukemia, lymphoma, lung, mouth, glioma, brain, uterine cancer, pancreatic cancer, and a few more. So this is a substance that is, thank goodness, you know, in Canada it's becoming legalized soon in a controlled way. But in many places in the world, this is a natural healing substance with very few side effects that is illegal. So, you know, there's lots of research that is out there, you know, saying it's a valid treatment. So cannabis. The last point is eating organic. You know, when I talk about eating organic, I often hear the comment, well, it's too expensive. It's too expensive to eat organic. And I think, expensive relative to what, really? Expensive relative to eating out? Expensive relative to processed foods? Expensive relative to your health? You know, how do you rate expensive? I mean, what is the scale? If you're eating local, so you could shop at your farmer's market. I do here in Halifax, Seaforth Market, and you are buying organic, non-genetically modified foods, it's not that expensive. Now, if I buy a organic avocado from Mexico, then there's a bit of a different price tag. But when you're buying local, you're eating foods that haven't been on the shelf for too long, so they have a higher nutritional value. You're also putting money back into your economy. You know, you're supporting our local farmers. And it's our you know, consumer demand that's going to create the supply. So big businesses are going to eventually have to be supplying healthy food to us if we're demanding it. So again, organic, it's not that expensive if you shop local. The second thing would be to grow your own, to plant. You know, I've just bought some herbs to fill my flower pot boxes, and I don't have a big plot of land, but I have blueberry bushes growing, and you know, you can grow some of your organic garlic. You know, it's easy. Onions, really easy to grow in your garden. And the third thing would be to just eat less. In this episode, Dr. Mercola talks about intermittent fasting and how it's important to give your body that break so it can heal and understand how to utilize fats and kill off those cancer cells. So if you eat, especially before bed, 3 to 4 hours before bed, you're filling your body with energy that has nowhere to go. So it sits in free radicals that can cause cancers. So again, organic, eating organic, you want to shop local, grow your own, and finally eat less. You don't need as much food to be healthier. It also is an anti-aging strategy and helps control your weight. So again, you choose your foods wisely and you don't need as much. So what else do I want to talk about? I think I'll just close by saying, this series is amazing. You need to purchase it. There's nowhere else where I've seen such a focused, intensive, widespread, international world focus really on health, not just cancer. So this series will give you that information. Also, you'll be kept aware of current information. So there's new research that Ty talks about and new therapies that you might not even be published at this point. There's also free giveaways. There was one book, The Victory Over Cancer, access to different products, resources, clinics that you won't get anywhere else. So if you've missed the series up to this point, it's just amazing. I can tell you, I watch and listen to every episode. I bought it after the second episode. I was just really in love with the information, and I've been studying nutrition for 20 years. So 50 hours to go for 50% off. But the most important reason for you to purchase this series is to support the mission. In the first episode, I talked about the Flexner Report of 1910, where the Carnegie Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation were manipulating the education and the curriculum in medical schools. So medical doctors learned how pharmaceuticals were healing, but natural therapies and nutrition fell out of the curriculum. We need to bring it back. If we're not learning from our history, what a philosopher says, it will keep repeating itself. It will keep reliving it. So right now, according to the research, if we don't change the glyphosates in our food, in the pesticides and genetically modified foods, the heavy metals in our vaccines, by the year 2025,